and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavour show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of the UK's second-largest city, Birmingham.
Okay, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something kind of unusual for us.
Yeah, it's this audio source, right? Capturing just one day.
Exactly, one day for this extended family, all focused around this local event they were at.
Right. And our mission, I guess, for this deep dive is to really unpack the layers in those conversations we hear, go beyond just the, the surface chat.
Mm-hmm. To understand the family stuff, the dynamics, there's a bit of a financial puzzle in there too.
And some worries that seem to be bubbling up about one of the teenagers.
Yeah, so we'll pull out those key moments, the little details, and try to figure out what's really going on underneath it all.
Looking for those insights you might miss if you just listened casually. Okay, so where do we start?
Well, the big public thing happening in the source is Henry's cricket match. He's a teenager, and it's his first game for the local team.
Right, and apparently he was pretty nervous about the whole thing.
Understandably. And he only got roped in because Lily asked him first, and then Khalil persuaded him. Seems Khalil didn't want to be the only younger player.
Okay. So a bit of peer pressure involved, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. And there's family history there, too, with the team. Grandad used to play.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But he got dropped, didn't he?
He did. But he sounds quite good about Henry playing. Tells him he doesn't begrudge him the place, even though it meant he lost his own. Which is, quite decent of him.
That is quite decent, yeah. Shows some good family support there, despite his own disappointment.
So the match itself, how did it go? From the sounds of it, not great for the team.
No, not really. They were playing down, and the word used was battered. Sounds pretty bad.
Battered, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of talk about mistakes, like miscatches, dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm. And they mentioned missing key players, Rex and Katetma. Their absence was definitely felt, it seems.
But here's the interesting bit. Despite the team doing badly, Henry and Khalil apparently did really well.
Yeah, the source specifically says Henry played brilliantly. Things like excellent fielding, a great stop.
And Khalil also played very well. So you've got this, contrast. Team struggles, but the young guys step up.
Which is a nice storyline within the match itself.
Definitely. And there were other little details too, right? Like the weather.
Oh yeah, the forecast was for sun, though it sounds like clouds gathered later, maybe threatened rain. Typical British summer day, perhaps.
Should be. And Fallon's pies. Can't forget those.
Yes. Huge hit. Delicious, people saying they're worth coming for.
Though you also hear Tom sort of muttering that Linda could have made pies just as good. A little bit of typical family needling there.
Huh? Always. So after the match, how is Henry feeling?
He actually said he found it fun, even though they lost. Felt okay about his own game.
That's good.
But already thinking about next week's T20 match, wanting to improve. And Grandad's there giving him tips. But there was that comment.
What was that?
He mentioned feeling really tiring afterwards, needing to sit down. It kind of stuck out a bit.
Yeah, really tiring. That's interesting. Maybe more than just physical exertion.
Possibly. And that's maybe a good point to shift focus a bit from the public game to the, let's say, the unseen currents in the conversations.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's quite a bit of talk around Peggy's money and this family holiday that's coming up.
Right, the holiday. It's not just a spontaneous trip, is it?
No, not at all. The source is very clear.
Yeah.
They're going, along with the Aldridge family, because Peggy specifically left money for that purpose in her will.
So it's an obligation almost? You kind of hear that, can't you? A sense of, maybe not disappointment exactly, but pragmatism.
Yeah, definitely. Like if it wasn't stipulated for a holiday, they'd much rather use that money for other things.
What sort of things?
The house came up, the business, practical investments, not necessarily a big group holiday.
And there are doubts about the holiday itself too. Concerns about it being a big family holiday, quote unquote.
Loads of kids. And whether Justin will even like it. Someone pictures him wanting a 5-star hotel away from the riffraff, which I guess is his local pub.
Sounds like it. So not everyone's ideal vacation may be forced on them a bit by the inheritance conditions?
Pretty much. And that brings up another little thread. What about the rest of Peggy's money?
Oh, yeah, there was that mention. It's kind of vague, isn't it?
Very. Adam was supposed to ring the accountant about it, but straight away someone says they doubt they'll get a clear answer. It's literally called a bit of a mystery in the recording.
Huh. So you've got this inheritance shaping their immediate plans, maybe not in the way they'd choose, highlighting their other financial pressures.
And introducing this little unanswered question about where all the money went, it really shows how something like an inheritance isn't always straightforward, you know?
Absolutely. It can create its own set of complications and reveal those underlying anxieties. Okay, so moving from money matters, what else is going on beneath the surface?
Well, this is probably the most concerning thread, I think. It revolves around Henry again, but this time his digital life, his phone use.
Ah, okay. What specifically?
It comes from Natasha. She saw him in the kitchen earlier, and he apparently hid his phone, like turned it off the second she came in.
Ooh, that sounds instantly suspicious, doesn't it?
Right. And she also noted he seemed extra nervous before the match. Hopping around, she called it.
So the nervousness might not have been just about the cricket.
That's the implication, yeah. And when Natasha asked him what he was doing on the phone, his excuse was just checking the weather.
Checking the weather, right. How did that go down?
Not well. You hear reactions like, that's a new one. Clear disbelief from Natasha and Tom.
Okay. So Natasha's worried. What are her specific fears?
They seem quite intense. She mentions reading things online, posts about how terrifying the internet can be for teenagers.
That's a common parental anxiety for sure.
Yeah, and she feels like parents have no control and that there are people out there putting up awful stuff online, stuff that's actually designed to attract kids.
Wow, okay. So she's worried about malicious intent online.
Definitely. And she's concerned that Helen, Henry's mom, might not have any idea what he's actually looking at.
Does she connect it to anything else?
Yes. She brings up the fact that Henry managed to keep his contact with Rob secret for weeks. So it shows he can keep secrets if he wants to.
Right, establishing a pattern of concealment, perhaps.
And her fears escalate quite a bit. She wonders if it's more than just normal teenage stuff. Could it be bullying, grooming, something really extreme?
That's a big jump. How does Tom react to all this?
Well, initially he tries to downplay it a bit. Says it's pretty normal for a 14-year-old to want privacy with their phone.
Okay, more common sense perspective, maybe.
Yeah, and he even calls Natasha naive for jumping to conclusions about grooming or extreme content, suggesting Henry wouldn't be involved in that.
But did he leave it there?
No, because Natasha actually asks him to talk to Henry about online safety.
Ah, so Tom did have a chat with him.
He did. We hear a bit of it.
Yeah.
Henry gets quite defensive, says he's fine. They did online safety at school way back in year 5.
Year 5, that seems a bit young for current relevance.
Yeah, exactly. And he says his mom limits his apps, no phone in the bedroom. Ticking the boxes, basically.
And what about the hiding the phone incident?
He just repeats the excuse, I was just checking the weather. Again.
Not very convincing. How did the conversation end?
Pretty quickly, Henry basically shuts it down, asks, can I read my book now? Just wants to retreat.
Into his book. Another form of escape, maybe.
Could be. It really highlights that classic dilemma, doesn't it? Balancing a teenager's need for their own space, their privacy, with genuine parental worries about the online world. It's tough territory.
It really is. So when we try to sort of connect these dots, what picture emerges from this deep dive?
Well, it feels like it's not just separate issues happening side by side. They might be connected.
How so?
Think about Henry's nervousness and feeling really tiring after the match. Is that just the cricket?
You're suggesting maybe not.
Right. Could the pressure of the match combined with whatever he might be dealing with privately, maybe online stress, maybe something else be showing up physically?
That makes sense. Stress manifests in different ways. The body keeps the score, as they say. And what about the wider family atmosphere?
Yeah, does that play a role? You've got this undercurrent of financial pressure, this slightly awkward holiday obligation hanging over them, the mystery about Peggy's money.
It creates a certain mood, perhaps, a background hum of things not being quite ideal.
Exactly. And could that kind of general atmosphere make a teenager feel more inclined to withdraw, to seek refuge, whether it's online or, like Henry did, just wanting to bury himself in a book?
It's plausible. A need for a private world when the shared world feels a bit complicated.
What really strikes me from digging into this source is that contrast. You have the public celebration, the family cheering Henry's brilliant fielding.
Yeah, that shared moment of pride.
And then almost in the same breath, these private anxieties simmering away. Worries about his online life, worries about money. It's quite a stark juxtaposition.
It really is. So wrapping this up, what are the main takeaways from listening so closely to these conversations?
I think we've seen how just one day focused on something like a cricket match can actually reveal so much about a family. The dynamics, the financial stuff, the very modern challenges of parenting, with technology involved.
Yeah, the source gave us those specific little moments, didn't it? The exact phrases, the observations that let us see beyond just the events themselves and get a feel for the relationships and the pressures they're under.
It moved it from just reporting to hopefully gaining some real insight.
And it does leave you thinking, doesn't it?
About what specifically?
Well, just how much do we or can we ever really know about what's going on inside a teenager's head? Especially with so much of their world potentially hidden behind a screen.
That's true. It feels like there might always be a part of the picture missing. You know, like that question about the rest of Peggy's money in these conversations, a piece of the story that just remains out of reach.
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just moving mics around.
So, what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the arches. Any
Are you what we call Foley then?
Kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the ball bar. That's,
This one.
Yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever